Hey there. Welcome to Her Truth Revealed, unraveling our midlife era. I'm your host, Wonderful Morrison. This space is for the woman who's done pretending, done hiding, and ready to step fully into her truth. Midlife isn't about fading into the background. It's a time where resilience lights the way and authenticity becomes the loudest voice in the room. In this season of our lives, we are more than just survivors. We are creators, revolutionaries, and unapologetic women rewriting the rules. I've been through my battles, rebuilding from loss, betrayal, and heartache. But here's the truth. Every challenge, every tear, and every setback has led me to this moment of profound transformation. Together, we're going to dive into raw, real conversations that shatter stereotypes, tackle the tough stuff, and embrace the powerful magic that is midlife. So, if you're ready to live this chapter with boldness and joy, hit subscribe. Share this episode with someone who needs to hear it and leave a review so we can keep this revolution going. Ladies, no more masks, no more apologies, just the truth of who we are. Let's do this. Hello and welcome to another amazing episode of A Truth Revealed. Today I'm really excited about this conversation today because Denise, every time I get in her space, it's like a boost of energetic awesomeness. Her and I have a lot in common in terms of how we see business and how we want business for ourselves and for other women to be, which means stress is always a part of business, but having fun while you're in business is prime time. And Denise is in her beautiful little office space. When she was describing to me, because my office space is in my home, and she has a she shed in her backyard, which I'm so jelly about. But so today, I am really excited to have a conversation with Denise and Her Truth Revealed because we're going to talk about how we think we see business and how we want to do business and how business is different for every single person who decides to be in it. And we're just going to talk about all the things. So, however, before we get started, I just want to say thank you to all the listeners, to all of the people who review, leave their beautiful, kind words, and then share every podcast that gives them value with their friends and family, because that's really how women work. We are all about giving each other all the things that help us grow and become more and be in partnership with the way that we're living life. So thank you so much, everyone. Now, without further ado, let me introduce my friend, Denise. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you for being here.
I'm so excited to finally have this conversation.
I know.
I am so excited to be here.
Yes, me too. So tell us a little bit about who you are, your title, the things that you do, and then we'll get into how you got there.
Okay. I am Denise Perkins. I am a productivity and results coach, and I am the founder of the Mindful Productivity Method, which is all about big picture productivity and hitting our goals while also loving our business and avoiding at all costs the burnout, the trappings of, I think like the trappings of entrepreneurship that get us kind of sucked into being miserable.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it happens, right? But figuring out a way that we can connect with our business and why we did it in the first place, which is where that mindful productivity comes in. I'm not so much about what Asana board you're using and all the ticky tacky kind of admin productivity. I'm all about a to-do list, but I'm also more about, again, that big picture productivity, making sure we're intentional with what we're working on so that we know exactly what our priorities are and so that we can make the most of the things that we're doing on a daily basis, because we don't want to be working all the time. We didn't sign up for this to be, to have another job or to be working 24/7. So
yeah,
that is me. That's what I'm all about. I have a lot of different, and I guess I didn't mention, female entrepreneurs are my sweet spot. Those are my people. I
Yeah.
have male
Damn.
clients, but my jam is my female entrepreneurs because I just want all of us to be as productive and as successful as possible. And I just get really excited about all of the amazing ideas that women have.
Yes. Before we even move into that, where were you at just this weekend? Speaking of female entrepreneurs
Yeah, I
that
was
you
I
spoke at.
I was asked last minute to speak at the Bloss conference. I did 2 workshops. So, and the prior to that, I had my own I do an annual retreat. It's the Vision to Reality Business Action Planning Retreat. So we build our business plan in a 2-day period. But so the reason I bring that up is because Jessica asked me to basically break down my 2-day retreat into a 45-minute workshop in 2 weeks.
And just a little sidebar for you all that doesn't know or are not in the Pacific Northwest, Bloss is a community of vibrant women who
So good.
are, I think, they have different backgrounds and different types of world that they're living in.
Mhm.
But I think the majority of women at Bloss are entrepreneurs,
Yeah,
right?
business
S-
of society. It's so
Oh,
I love it
that's it.
so much. Yes, it's so good. Yeah,
Yes.
mostly entrepreneurs, founders, business owners, and so yeah, for in a 45-minute 2 weeks, I broke down that, I'm here for it. I'm here for the challenge. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
That's amazing. So
Yeah.
how did you get to where you're a productivity coach?
Yeah.
Because I
Productivity coach.
feel like it's such a need, right? There's so many different types of coaches when it comes to entrepreneurship.
Yes.
There is mindset coaching, there is systems, consulting type work. There's people like me who are really into the branding aspect of it in the marketing arena. And productivity, like that is the engine of the growth of business. So,
Yes.
what led you
100%.
there?
Well, I mean, it's all about systems and structure, right? And so, and I kind of call it like where the woo meets the do because I
Mhm.
am all about mindset and mindfulness, obviously mindful productivity method. So I kind of marry that mindfulness with let's get some ish done, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, my tagline is "Let's get your shit together." So sorry, everybody, but shit stands for strategy, habits, implementation, and transformation. There's specific things that we need to be doing in order to get it done. So my background is, I've always been an entrepreneur, and I was introduced to a system when I was a realtor called the Ninja Selling System. It was
Familiar.
what? Yeah, it catapulted my business from nothing. I had, three babies under 5, a husband who traveled all the time and had just started this real estate career. And I was introduced to this system that basically in a year had me, making nearly 6 figures my first year. I was focused on, and this system focused on mindset, relationships, and repeatable habits. So when I kind of subscribed to that, I had a really great, beautiful business to the fat point where gosh, 10, 11, 12 years later, I was asked to coach the Ninja Selling System to other realtors.
Mm.
So as I was building my coaching business now, right, like kind of departing from doing that system in real estate, I was realizing that, wow, I'm doing all these same systems in my new coaching business, my online coaching business, which
Mm.
happened to start right at the beginning of 2020.
Which
Yeah,
what
right?
was
Like
happening in
I
2020?
I don't know. Such amazing timing. So when I was trying to build a business, raise 3 kids, homeschool 3 kids, and
Wow.
still run a real estate business, this system was what kind of got me through. And during 2020, I was so gifted with the announcement from my doctor that I had breast cancer just weeks before my 50th birthday. And I gotta tell you, had I not had this system that I like to call,
Mhm.
right? Like it really was a system because it started with that mindfulness. Every day
Mhm.
I would do my morning practice and I would sit and I would meditate and I would journal and all of those things. And during this crazy time of, just being at home, homeschooling, just
Yeah.
that in and of itself, that practice helped. But then when I'm introduced to the fact that I have breast cancer and I'm just about to turn 50, um,
Mhm.
that really, spun everything on its head, right?
Yeah.
And so what I discovered during this time and this part of this season of my life was that productivity became so much more crucial, right?
Yeah.
And one of the habits that I had had in my world that I had been introduced to from a previous business coach was reading my journals back because I was a journaler.
Ooh.
And so at the end of every December, I'm going to start doing it here in a few weeks. I read back my journal for the year, and you learn a lot of stuff about yourself when you do that.
Wow. I bet.
Right? So the thing I learned that particular year was my pattern of beating myself up about how unproductive I was. Wow, that was an unproductive day. Wow, I wish I was more productive today, or gee, I didn't get anything done that week. I was noticing that on repeat, and I'm taking notes on what I'm noticing about what
Yeah.
I'm writing about myself. And so what I discovered was that I was so focused on being productive, I was out of alignment with what really truly mattered.
Mm.
And it's focusing on the things that do matter, focusing on the things that make impact in our lives. And particularly in our entrepreneurial world, our business, our results, the goals that we want to
Yeah.
achieve, and only focusing on those things and letting go of everything else, because the noise, the distractions are what
Right.
are holding us back and keeping us from growing and keep us stuck, right? So I just really adapted that system that I had learned in my real estate business to help female entrepreneurs find out what's most important in their business, learn how to prioritize and reconnect to the business that we want to have and the business of our
Right.
dreams. And make sure that we stay connected to that dream and that passion and that, I call it my personal mission statement, stay connected to that every single day, every single week, every single quarter, every single year, which
Yeah.
is my productivity funnel and my productivity system that I coach.
So when you said earlier about you are the intersection of woo and do, tell us a little bit about that, because that's unique. I think a lot of people, okay, I take that back. Women in our demographic have a tendency to have been overproductive most of that, right? They're doing all the
Right?
things. They're running the
Yep.
household, they're raising the
Yep.
kids, they're living the part-time, the full-time gig, and the whole thing. And when they're thinking, "Oh man, I'm gonna run a business after, after their career in corporate," or maybe like with COVID, they
Yeah.
decided
Yep.
that
The
company
pivot, right?
time to let them go. How do you help them understand that there is still a way to build a business, but have that meaningful aspect to it? Like what brought the woo and do thing together for you?
Well, because typically we build our business because there's a passion for something, right? So
Yes,
it's really
100%.
right? It's really tapping into that and identifying it and remembering it. And most of my
Mhm.
clients have been in business for a minute, right? Like so a lot of times we have to backtrack and be like, okay, well, it's a framework, right? And that I have
Yeah.
6 pillars of business mastery. And the very first thing is mindfulness. The second thing is, what is my purpose? And then I create a vision. So how I help them do that is I have you reconnect to basically your why and your personal mission of why you're here in the first place. So to me,
Yeah.
that's kind of wooey, right? Like, because it
Yeah.
involves meditating sometimes, or doing some visualizations, or really asking yourself some hard questions.
Yeah.
Right? Most of us, if you're an entrepreneur, I mean, we're a unique breed, right? Like, we're driven, a lot of times, I mean, sort of crazy, because we like beat
Yes.
ourselves up over and over again.
Yes.
It's like, I'm determined, I'm making this happen, right? Like,
Yes.
so when we can stop and kind of like take a beat, take a
Yeah.
pause, and think about all of those things, it can it can marry and create a harmony between that drive and that passion. And so it's
Yeah.
kind of like just keeping that connection alive.
I love that. I feel like that has been my journey in the second round of business, where I only knew how to be,
Oh, mhm.
just moving, moving, moving at 100 miles an hour. But then I was like, yeah, I'm not feeling that anymore. I don't
Mhm.
want it. But when you don't know how else to exist, where do you even begin to look for the answer of how do you not go 0 to 100? And
Yep,
yeah,
yep. Well, and
that's a
I'm definitely a recovering well, overproducer or right? Like cuz
yeah,
I learned that about myself and that
yeah,
in that push and that push and that push isn't always productive. It
yes,
isn't
no.
it isn't efficient, isn't
It's doing,
it
producing.
correct.
Uh,
And I dislike the word busy. I try to not use that and my life is quite busy, 3 kids, animal husband, all the things, a business. And I just like to call it full. It was full. I had a really full week
mm,
because it's a choice too, right? Like I can say no to
yeah,
things. I can, but being busy, I feel it's like almost like a badge of honor. And like,
uh,
I don't need to feel that because to me busy is negative, but a lot of people think that when you're busy, oh, my business is really good. But that you have to be
yeah,
careful about that too. And this was a real
yeah.
estate thing. It was like you don't want to tell people you're busy because then they think that you have too much business.
Right. Then
So,
you won't have time for them,
oh, well
for
you don't have
their
time.
yeah,
And so I'm like resistant to that. It's like, no, I'm full. My life is full. I'm grateful and I love new opportunities. I love to take
yeah,
things on that are in alignment with where I'm going and where my business is going and and how I can support female entrepreneurs. So
yeah.
that makes sense.
So let's back up a little bit. So
Okay.
you get this harrowing news about your health, and
Yes.
you're at this point, you have started your woo do business.
Yeah.
And you get this, what does that do to you? Like it would you get, and there's no
Yeah.
one in the world that gets that news and was like, all right, well, let's buckle
Yeah.
up and get,
Yeah.
how do you take the news, and then what do you for yourself decide to become in that process?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, again, I go back to the fact that thank goodness I had a practice where I was a meditator, I was a journaler, I had kind of spiritual guides in my life that I could
Mm,
go to be like, okay, what the heck? Like how do
yeah.
I wrap my brain around this? And I had to work really hard to I'm sometimes an eternal optimist too, like to the point of like where I don't go dark and sometimes I need to.
Mm,
Does that make sense? It's just
yes.
I'm like, "Oh, everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine." And sometimes that's not really very productive, right? Like,
Right.
so I worked really hard at being positive for my family, not to I didn't want to
Mhm.
scare my kids, right? But also and it was such a weird time though too, because I mean, I had cancer in the middle of COVID, like, in the middle of COVID. Like, my mom wouldn't even, like, give me a hug because she was terrified of getting sick, right? I mean, I never
Right.
saw half my doctors because they all had masks on all the time. Like, it was such a bizarre time. I took more COVID tests probably than, like, I would have had I not you know what I mean? Because like, I every time I went to the
Yeah.
hospital
Yeah.
so, it was a challenging time in general,
On
and I was
top of
turning
that,
50 like, my
which is
50th
also
birthday I know,
menopausal.
right? Yeah, I was turning 50 and my 50th birthday was one of those drive-by birthdays where everyone's, like, honking and holding si and I'm like, "Oh my god,
Oh.
is this my life right now? Like, what is happening?" So, in it, there was a lot of me time because we weren't
Mhm.
with people, we weren't so I had a
Yeah.
lot of time to reflect and to think and to what am I gonna do with the rest of my life, right? Like,
Yeah.
and where this passion for this coaching part and guiding women and that's really where that came from and knowing that I wanted to make a bigger impact than and selling houses is a great thing. I wanted to make a bigger impact in this
Right.
space that I was super passionate about.
Right. And I don't think it's knocking an industry. I think you're talking about alignment, right? Because
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
much of your life has just been completely redirected.
Yeah.
Like I feel like when big things like that happen in our lives, it's more course correction than it is like a when a big thing happened to me like that, I remember thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna die." That's
Yeah.
all, right? That's the eminence of something heavy and dark, and it's over.
Mhm.
Everything is over.
Yeah.
Okay, 8 years later, I look back and I go, "No, actually, I think that was the breakthrough."
Yeah.
Holy crap,
Mhm,
that's
mhm.
amazing. So
Yes.
now when you're working with women who could potentially be like, "I don't know what I want. Denny, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know there's something I want, but I don't know what I want." And then
Mhm.
when you're, "Okay, let's do a vision, whatever." And they're like, I got nothing. I got
Yeah.
nothing for you." How do you help that space? Because I feel like what you said earlier, we get into that hustle mode and we have a sense of direction because you're in a
Mhm,
hustle. And
mhm.
then something happens that sort of shakes the very ground you walk on, and you're reassessing your life. And you're like, what is this? And then there's that lull period, the void of, I don't know. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Where do you go with that?
Well, I ask some really good questions of people. I'm really good at actually kind of pulling it out of people. I don't really know exactly how I do it.
That's your
If I'm being
superpower.
honest. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I can get anyone excited about starting a business.
Three things
You
I
know,
would never.
Whoa.
I feel like I get really excited about people starting a business
Mhm.
and and their ideas and I can pull it out of people and pull out what they're excited about and what well okay but why did you go down that road that time what was I mean I just a lot of
Mm,
exploration and questioning
yeah.
asking and answering and
Ah,
because I've been doing this so long, meaning this being having my own business, I can hear things, I can see pitfalls, I can get you
right.
really excited too.
Yeah.
I even had a conversation with my 17-year-old daughter last night, 17, by the way, that's weird. She just turned 17 last week, about
Wow.
a business idea. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, Kate, you should totally." She's like, "Oh, okay, that is a good idea." I can't it's like I can't help myself.
But you know what though? That is something women not just need, but want to be in the energy that they want to be in. Because the thing is, when you're a small business, and especially if you are in the service industry, you're very isolated.
Oh,
It's a very
so
isolating space. And
yes.
to get
Yes.
that energy riled up in you is daunting on your own, right?
100%.
So having a version of you in their space is, maybe it's not even what, maybe they don't even know they need it.
I
But
agree.
here,
I
and
totally
that's what
agree.
I'm saying, like, you need energy is a different format in terms of, I think what we've been taught is work hard, head down, get
Mm,
into it, ride that wave and keep going. But that is not how naturally women work in
no,
general.
no. Well, and it doesn't necessarily serve you to achieve the thing you wanna achieve.
Yeah.
I mean, it isn't it's because of isolation. I mean, it just it and that's and when you it's interesting you say that too because it's like everyone thinks, "Oh, I start my own business, I gotta do it all myself." And I'm like, "Hell to the no." Like that
Yeah.
it's actually the opposite. Let's open everything up. Who can you surround yourself with? And it's the whole reason I have the coaching program that I have. It is a group coaching program because I feel so strongly that without that support piece and support can show up in a bunch of different ways in our businesses. There's no way it can succeed. You have
Yeah.
to have that support from that person in your ear, from that cheerleader to the
Right.
person that's just, your best friend, your
Right.
business bestie, someone that gets exactly the journey that you're on, to a virtual assistant or, someone that's doing the things that you suck at, right? So
Right.
that isolation
Right.
can be scary and we have to pull ourselves out of it for sure.
Right. But I think there's not enough of what you're saying out there in the world. Like, you and we are I feel like in a small space of women who kind of know each other, who
Mhm.
and get it, but that is not a common trend out there in the business world to
It's
find
like,
even the way you said it, the support comes in many ways. We assume support is only in this one thing. And really, I don't think that's it. And women in general, like, I don't know about you. I raised three kids, and I remember when the house was just busy and then they had their friends over. When I started getting empty nesting, I was like, "It is so quiet, it's kinda scary." So I would have the TV on all the time, or actually, my thing is, I had the TV on and the radio on,
yeah, you did.
and then One time my son says, "How do you watch anything? How do you even remember?" And I didn't know how to answer him, and I said one day, I go, "I got so used to listening for what's happening over there with
Yeah.
you and your friend? What's happening with your sisters? Why is it so quiet in this particular area?" And the music going super loud because all of you had to have music for you just become really a master of understanding your space. And
Yeah.
then you start a business and you're isolated and it
Yep.
just doesn't work. It-
No, 100%.
There's
Very,
so
very true.
much that you need that noise still needs to happen or
Mhm.
I don't know. It's not white noise. It's I think it's mom noise. Mom
Mom
noise.
noise.
Yeah. Don't you
It is
think?
a full feeling. But I gotta tell you, I sure love coming out to my she shed.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about that because a lot of women work out of their homes, and
Yeah.
especially in entrepreneurship, real estate, whatever industry, right? Unless it's an actual brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Um, what it what made you decide like, okay, I gotta have my own space, which I think a majority of us, yeah, that would be great. But we all have it, like my
Yeah.
office is inside my home. What made you want to
Well,
separate versus having an office in your house?
this is out of necessity. How my layout of my house was not conducive. I
I
mean, I
got
have
it.
3 kids and I have 4 bedrooms. We have an extra room, but it's in the middle of the house.
Uh,
Yeah. It and it has, like anyway,
so
relevant.
was it
But
it just
it
wasn't
it
gonna
was it
work.
was kind of out of necessity.
What's been your favorite part about being separated from the house?
I can 100% focus and just, like, and I can 100% focus, get my work done, and I can walk away and close the door and go and not be tempted. Like, I really try to
Mhm.
not bring my laptop in the house, and I have that separation, and I can be like, "Okay, family time," you know?
Ah. And I wanted to point that out because here's the thing. I think we forget sometimes that the type of coach that we are or the type of business that we're running also is it's a mirror to the
Yeah.
life that we so here you are saying I'm a productivity coach and it wouldn't be beneficial for you to be in the midst
No.
of the chaos
Oh,
and be a productivity coach, right? So it makes
right.
sense. You're like, here's how I've been able to offer you the million ways that I believe productivity can happen for you
Yes.
because you're practicing the very thing. I think we always have to look at that and go, what are we practicing that actually is, is that thing that
Mhm.
we're offering?
100%, 100%.
Because we are the result that people are coming to us for. We have to represent the thing, right?
Yeah, yeah, sure, absolutely.
And
And
that's
to
what
be
I think you do.
fair, sometimes I struggle, right? And I think that that's also important is because I mean, I don't think I'd be a good productivity coach if I hadn't experienced
Yeah.
unproductivity or, allowing distractions to take over my life or allowing the overwhelm to be heavy in here, right? Like I
Yeah.
really try to practice harmony versus balance. So, you know,
Ooh,
and
I
I got
love
to
that.
yeah.
Harmony versus balance.
Mhm,
Ooh,
mhm,
that's good.
because it's so hard to achieve, but harmony, I can have a harmonious home life and business, like, they're harmonious. Sometimes I'm working
Yeah.
more, like, the last October was a nightmare, like, and not in a bad way, like, I just was very busy for my business, which was amazing, and also actually incredibly busy, full for my home life, so it's just been
Yeah.
and now we're going into a different time of year and I'm just going to allow that week I didn't. And I was like, you know what? I want to acknowledge that and I want to be authentic with that because I feel all over the
Mm,
place because I didn't follow my system. And here's the thing, I have it to fall back on, which is I feel
yeah.
so lucky because I have it. And I
Yeah.
almost feel like that's important to talk about too is
Well,
that
100%.
right? Like
Yeah.
I preach it and sometimes I don't practice it.
Yeah.
But
But
goodness
that's what
knows.
makes you real and honest and more of a person I would want to learn productivity from because you're not perfect, right? Like if I'm trying to achieve perfection, well, Jesus, first of all,
Yeah,
that's
right?
just
Bye
So
bye.
yeah. That right there is the mistake, is that. Okay, give me a list of, because you've worked with enough women now and probably different age groups. What are some of the top 5 things that we do as business women that
Mm.
are 100% distraction
Oh,
versus productivity that we might that might surprise us? Because you can say things like, oh, doing dishes instead of that. Like, we know
yeah.
that to be true. But what are some of the secret hidden distractions that we choose into that's really keeping us from productivity that you've noticed?
Allowing other people to control how you start your
Oof.
day. Like,
Right out the
not,
gate, she came
yeah,
in
right.
hot.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Because I mean, it's like, how do you start your day?
Uh,
How are you? I mean, are you showing up like in reaction mode, or are we going to be in proactive mode? Another one is just not planning, like not
mm,
being mindful and thoughtful, and just sitting down and being like, okay, what is it that I want to accomplish today? Like having that. That's where that transformation comes in. Like, what's the end goal, even just for today, right? Like, and then
yeah.
making those to-do lists that are just too too massive. I like to focus on, okay, and this is a very common productivity hack, for lack of a better word, right? Is I have 3 things that are non-negotiables today. And
Mm,
those are the 3 things I'm going to get done. I mean, obviously I'm going to be doing other things. But these, if I get nothing else done, these are the 3 things I'm going to get done. And those are my goals.
mm,
Also, a really big one is, it's like not breaking your bigger goals down into manageable steps, and
yeah.
um allowing, the distractions to take over that goal, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think it's really important to if you have a really big beautiful goal that you want to do, really assess, is this going to be impacting my business today for that transformation that I want to make by the end of the year? And ensuring that it's in alignment, it's that impact is going to be seen, and just breaking it down. So a lot of this is
Yeah.
like, is that, and then the other really big one is not having a vision, and just going at our business and just doing all the things and listening to what everyone says we should do, and I call it shoulding on ourselves. I
Yeah.
should be doing more social. I should be on LinkedIn. I should be sending emails. Well, is that in alignment with what your goal is? And so when I say you
Yeah.
don't have a vision, in order to have a plan, you have to have an end in mind.
Right.
Okay, so by the end of the year, this is what I'd like to achieve. And if we don't have that, all of the stuff we're doing is just stuff, because we don't know if we're, making an impact, or if we're, all of these clients that are coming in are really the right clients, or if we're, serving them the best that way we could, and so many things go into.
Yeah. I remember back in the day, there was a show, and this gentleman would come out that he would end his show every time saying, shoot for the moon, but even if you miss, you'll be among the stars. I feel like that's what you're saying is a vision doesn't have to be so static and written in rock formation, but it is a North Star in terms of at least this direction, and I might not get there by the end of the year fully, but the journey has been amazing. My view has really been like, maybe that wasn't even the right moon. I mean, who
Exactly.
knows,
That's
right?
exactly right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I do business planning every year.
Yeah.
It's the vision to
Agreed.
reality, because and I got to tell you, I had a vision. I had my vision written out, my 12-month vision, and I truly believe that if you don't even have something, it's going to be really hard to achieve anything. And it's really really hard to make a plan if you don't know where you're going. Like, I mean, you can't put the
Agreed.
if you don't, how are you going to get to the destination if you don't put it in the GPS, right?
Right, right. You can't just get
Yeah,
in and then
it
the
can't just
GPS just
appear.
takes you wherever
Yeah,
it
right.
doesn't
Yeah, and so when you have that vision, it gives you that clarity, and it
yeah,
allows you to plot the way you're gonna go. And again,
yeah,
why I plan every single year is because I can course correct. Like, oh God, I was gonna do this, this, and this, but you know what? Some stuff changed in my life.
yeah,
Some stuff changed in my business. and I'm the business owner. And so I'm allowed to do whatever I want. So I change my vision changes every single year, and in a great way, because I've learned, I've decided, I've gotten clarity. And so this year's going to be even better.
Yeah. Yes. And I love how you ended that with a positive note of instead of beating yourself up of like, oh my gosh, I didn't get there. I'm so far off of my I think that to have an attitude of like, you know what, maybe I'm far off because that wasn't like I was just making stuff up. Like maybe that's not really what I want. And it helps you assess what do I really want, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer in that all things happen for a reason in a way that it's meant to unfold.
Yeah.
It's our decision whether we take that as a negative thing or a positive thing. Again, not that it has to always be positive because man, there's been a lot of positive,
Right.
what is it? Toxic positivity
Toxic positivity for sure, for sure, for
that exists, which is very detrimental to a business owner, I believe,
100%.
because like you said earlier, you know, sometimes you don't go to the dark side and you need to.
Mhm.
Sometimes there are
Lessons to be
experiences where you
learned.
need to do that.
Lessons
Yes,
to be learned.
exactly. And
Well,
people show up to either what is it? Teach you a lesson, you be
ooh,
the lesson, and
yes.
right? There's
Yeah.
all of these ways that things show up. So, what do you think you believe in the work that you do? What is your message to the world?
Mhm.
Sorry, just laid that out there, all
Just like, I
heavy.
mean, just going for the home run here. What is my message to the world? Gosh, I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is like, I mean, and this sounds very toxic positivity, but I truly believe you can do anything that you set your mind to. And it's
Mm,
just all about how we show up, how we can reframe things a lot of times too, and take it as a, why did this happen for me versus why did this happen to me? I mean,
mm,
I'm like you, like I'm a firm believer that the reason why that last, hire that I had did not work out is because there's another one that's just waiting there for me. You know what I mean? Or
yes,
the
agreed.
reason why that particular launch didn't go the way is because there's something else greater that's going
Right.
to happen next. And all of the every single failure is part of the journey. And for me, I always look at it as this is exactly what I need to be coaching my clients, right? Like, because
Mhm.
that thing didn't work out, gosh, that makes me a better coach. That makes me a better business owner and a better person to support female entrepreneurs. And so just to my thing that I love and really want female business owners to embrace is that create your vision, wave your magic wand,
Mm,
and because do not worry about how it's going to happen, because that's what I'm here to help you do, is to figure out the how, but we have to have the vision first,
yeah,
and then we reverse engineer it, and
yeah,
therein lies the do. So here's like I'm teaching you to create a vision. We do meditations, we do future self visualizations, we do future diary entries, and then we're going to back it up and we're going to make a plan to actually see the results, like, because
yeah,
it's possible, and you have to go there first. And by
yeah.
that I mean, like, you have to wave that magic wand and let yourself dream.
Yes, yes. There is this book out called The Body Keeps Score, and it's written by a psychiatrist that talks about how we store trauma in our bodies,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
But what
mhm.
he said that was fascinating is people who have had extreme traumas, they are missing this element that is such a sort of an undervalued element of
Mm,
humans is the imagination.
mm.
And because the imagination is what stretches us and is our motivating roadway every single day of how we exist. And so I love what you're saying in terms of like, it doesn't have to be a perfect dream. It doesn't have to be a perfect North Star, but throw something out there that is, because then you'll get there. And that's your job. That's what you are here to do is to
Yeah,
help us get there. And so
yeah, yeah.
thank you for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it's and we all have glimmers of it, right? Like, you
Mhm.
even if it's like for that 1 second, oh God, wouldn't it be cool if I could? And it's like, yeah.
Right.
No, keep going. Keep going. No. How could I do that? Because then
Yeah.
this would happen and then this would happen. And that's not your job to determine. It's your job
Right.
like to say, okay, look at that glimmer of excitement that I had about that dream or that thing that I want to do. It exists.
Yeah. Let me get you there is what
Yeah,
Denise
let's
is
go. Let's
saying.
go.
Like
I mean, I'm like, I just get so excited because yeah, you totally 100% can. And that's when I get super excited. I'm like, that is such an amazing idea. I love that for you. And let's make it happen.
Yeah, I
I-
love that. Thank you so much. So, as we're getting to the end of the conversation, I'm going to ask you a question that I ask all my guests
Yes.
is if you're walking down the street and you walk into a cafe and you see 25-year-old Denise,
Hmm.
just take yourself back to that
Mhm.
time. What would you say to her that she would actually listen to?
So what would I tell her? Or what would she listen to? See, that is a very
Yeah,
fine.
see, that is where it sort of is the conundrum because
It is like,
we can
right?
say a bunch of stuff to our 25, but
Yes.
which one, what's the
What
one
would
thing that she would be
she
like,
listen
ooh,
to? Don't give up. I mean, I
mm,
know that my 25-year-old self would be like, yeah, I got that. Keep your fire and keep your determination and your love of life because it's what's going to get you and love of people. Like, cause that's what's going to get you everything.
yeah. Well, I'm sure as exuberant as you are now and vibrant as you are now, I'm pretty sure 25-year-old Denise was just on
Probably
fire.
very annoying.
No way. No way. You are the energy all of us desire, right? In terms of just being the ray of sunshine that we need in our lives. We all need a Denise friend.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'll take you all.
That's well, any last little nuggets that you'd like to, because we're nearing the end of the year
Yes.
and business owners are looking at this going, oh my gosh, it's the end of the year.
Mhm.
So, what is that one nugget that you would leave an army of women running their
Yeah.
business? What's your thing? What do you want to tell them?
To stop and make the plan. And by that I mean in three parts. Look back at what worked and what didn't work. Really think about like where are my clients coming from? What did I love about my business? What did I love
Mhm.
about where it's going? And then create your vision based on what you learned, create your vision of what you want to do, and then make the plan to execute it. So it's like
All
a
right. Well, that's what I'm going to do once we get
right?
off the call. I'm like, thank you so much. Thank you
You're
for
so welcome.
all of your knowledge and your wisdom. And for those who are listening, we will have all of Denise's information in our show notes so you can reach out and join her or partake in that retreat that she offers.
And
I highly
also
recommend.
thank you. Well, and also I coach in 90-day increments. So I have obviously 4 quarters of the next 90 days results accelerator where we take that vision that you have and break it down into 90-day increments and help you to execute and hit your goals. So,
Yay. So look at that.
yeah.
You could be a part of her upcoming pod because we are going into the
Yes, we
first
are.
quarter of 2026.
Yeah,
How exciting.
it
Oh,
is.
that's a year.
I'm so excited. We got lots of people in there so far and we're business planning now. And then we roll into Q1 ready to go with our plan.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Denise. I really, really love having you, and talking to you is always such a great infusion of excitement. So until the next time, everyone, get out there and do what you love, impact the world, and let's do it together. Until next time, thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much for being with me on today's journey. If you felt something resonate, if you saw yourself in this conversation, please take a moment to subscribe. Share it with a friend who needs this space and leave a review. It helps others find us, and it's a small way you can be a part of this powerful movement. Ladies, this isn't just a podcast. It's a community, a revolution, a place where midlife women come together to embrace our hard-earned wisdom and vibrant truth. So thank you for being part of this. Remember, it's time. It's time to step into our truth. No more holding back. Midlife is ours to own, and it's only getting started. So, Until next time, take a breath, honor your journey, and live with audacity, courage, and joy. This is our time, our truth, unraveled, revealed, and celebrated.